how to reach 2K MR in Street Fighter 6. Now, of course, this is like how I reached it personally, and don't think too much about the MR part, right? I mean, that's literally what made the big difference for me to be able to reach 2K MR. But obviously, that just means that this helps you with how to get nicer at the game as a whole. But I do think that like 2K MR, all this stuff is hella important, right? So for anybody who's not already in the loop, if you look at like my first video on this channel, I think it's like you know, it's called like Back to Neutral, and it's me like just now getting back into Street Fighter 6, like learning the game pretty much from scratch. And you know, at that point I was super garbage. That was just a few months ago, maybe like 2-3 months ago or something like that. And now fast forward a few months and your boy has reached 2K MR. So it happened quick, but of course I do train a lot, and was a lot of ups and downs along the way with it, which will continue. But I've learned a whole lot about the game, and I'm trying to put y'all on to that goddamn game. I'm saying, first thing that I would say is huge, right? That made a big difference for me when it comes to figuring this game out and getting a lot stronger is drive gauge management and awareness. Okay, that is one of the biggest differences. Even now, like I just started playing Cammy this week, I believe it's or whatever, like over this last week, and so I've been able to again fresh. Like now my Cammy is like 18. Maybe like 1850 MR or something like that. Like I think maybe I can hit 1900 tonight if I'm playing decent. But I've been able to like freshly see, like with a fresh pair of eyes, what it's like being at like, yeah, start learning Alex, low key, bro. But playing against like 1400, 1500, 1600, now of course 1700, 1800, right? And drive gauge is one of the biggest things that make a difference for y'all. Now, please, again, whatever I say to y'all right now, do not. I think one of the biggest things that where people, I'm trying to swear, but we're gonna mess up. It's like, okay, you've heard drive gauge awareness or something like that, and it go one ear out the other or whatever it might be, bro. Hear this shit out in depth and seriously and apply it to your game. So the drive gauge part, I think this is the most important thing, arguably, in all of Street Fighter 6. A whole lot of your opponents, what I've noticed is that a lot of my opponents, even if they don't burn themselves out, like a lot of people at the earlier level, people are even willing to burn themselves out, right? Y'all know not to burn yourself out. But what you might not be that aware of is that even some other good players or decent players, they will spend a whole lot of drive meter, even on something like a drive rush cancels, right? I completely changed, and this was me talking to Grand Totokai as well, actually. I remember him bringing this up to me, but like this type of concept. Somebody doing a low forward drive rush cancel or whatever it might be, even if I get hit sometimes, let alone if it's just, you know, on block, I generally speaking might even look at that as kind of like a net positive. Like you just lost 3 whole bars, right? That's not to say that they shouldn't do it, but some people I would say for sure overdo it. All of a sudden they do that drive rush cancel. They just lost 3 bars. And now you just land like a stand heavy kick on block, heavy punch, whatever it might be on block. And the difference in you guys' drive gauge is huge. Now that also goes and affects my own strategy as far as my character. So something big I switched up was, and I learned this from like just watching Enden Walker. This is Ryu specific, right? But it can apply to any character, to be honest with you. This applies to every character in the game. So, but with Enden Walker, I was watching his Street Fighter League matches, right? And I noticed he would in neutral, he would never do low forward drive rush. Like never. If you watch his Street Fighter League where he was going undefeated, he almost never did low forward drive rush. And I didn't hear him comment on this. It's just me studying. What he liked to do instead was use OD Fireball in neutral. And at that point, if the OD Fireball hit, he sees it hit, and then he confirms, not like it's a combo, obviously, he does a drive rush to get Oki. Then if it's on block, then you just keep on playing neutral. But the tech is Ryu specific, but think about that. Like he's literally, this is again my opinion, but he's literally if it does hit and he does his drive rush, right? He still used 3 bars in that situation. But that way he only used 3 bars if it hit. And if it was block, he only lost 2 bars, and he's sitting there in neutral and everything comfortably. So how do you apply this to any character? Well, right now I'm learning Cammy, right? I'm using Cammy. Like I said, I told you I'm probably like 1850 MR or something like that with her. Well, I'm much more likely if I whiff punish somebody to whiff punish them with like crouch strong, crouch medium kick, whatever, into like heavy spiral arrow. Whatever character I'm using, I think a lot of times we might whiff punish someone into whiff punish someone only into sweep or into like a drive rush. We like to whiff punish into drive rush combos, which is, I think it's fine to do that sometimes, right? But this is one of the only times when you're able to, when you're, oh yeah, and you're not draw. That's a great point too. You're also not locked out of the drive gauge regeneration by using moves like that. That's a great point. But yeah, a whiff punish, that's one of the only times, right, where you can go into like your meterless combo ender and it's guaranteed. Like I can't just do low forward in neutral, low forward buffer in a heavy drill. I could, but you get what I'm saying? Like obviously that's unsafe. So that's a huge thing that I like to do as well. Now, also when it comes to the drive gauge management and awareness, right? Another component of it, you have to use the drive gauge. I use the drive gauge to make reads on my opponents as well, right? How would I put it? How would I put this? Like, just for example, let's say someone has 2 bars of drive gauge, or especially like if it's in the orange, like one and a half bar of drive gauge, right? And I have them near the corner or something like that, or actually damn near anywhere, but especially if I got them near the corner, I know that there's a much higher chance that they might jump in that situation. Now, why would they jump there? They're not about to get burned out on the next hit, but still, they don't want to block that next stand heavy kick or fireball or whatever it is that your character might have. They really don't want to block that next button when they're at like a bar or like a bar and a half or something like that, right? So in burnout, y'all know that somebody was more likely to jump because they might drive they scared to drive impact. But even before they're in burnout, when they have as much as 2 bars or a bar and a half, it's easier to read your opponent in those spots. Another thing you got to be aware of is somebody has like 2 bars is think of how much that changes things. To some degree, they're damn near in burnout already if they have like 2 bars, right? Or a bar and a half or 2 bars, because they can't, quote unquote, wake up DP. If you wake up DP, you're getting burned out, right? So you still might wake up DP or something, or wake up super or whatever it might be, right? But it's not, it's gambling. We gamble to some degree, right? Fighting games. It is what it is. You're making reads. So what that does is it changes the likelihood that I might be willing to go for immediate in this spot, right? So the percentage chance that I might go for immediate is higher because of the, I don't know what we call it, game theory of it, or I don't know exactly, but you get what I'm saying. The fact, my game awareness, situational awareness. Also, when somebody is in burnout, what also can't they do, chat? They can't do like a button into drive rush. They can, but they're going to get burned out, right? So a lot of times they're probably not going to do that. Well, how can I use that to my advantage? Well, now I'm more likely to even walk at my opponent maybe, or be more comfortable standing up because I don't got to worry about a low forward drive rush or whatever that character might have. Or I might be more comfortable hitting my own poke because now let's say it's who is Terry's low forward 8 frames as well, chat? So I think his low forward is 8 frames. So Ryu's low forward is 8 frames. I think Terry's is 8 frames as well. But Terry's goes mad far. But hypothetically, if I'm assuming it's 8 frames, but whoever's is 8 frames, right? Let's say we're both in low forward range and we got the same startup. Our low forward got the same startup. Well, all of a sudden, the risk reward changes tremendously. I'm more likely to press my button right there because even if you press yours, you're not going to do a drive rush cancel. You get where I'm coming from? So that in itself is huge. And you need to find out, no matter how good or bad, okay, it is 8 frames. No matter how good or bad your character might be at taking advantage of burnout, if your character, like Ryu is the best in the game at taking advantage of burnout or a low drive gauge. He's the best character in the game at that. So Cammy is not that great at it, right? So when I first switched, Ryu's the first character I'm taking serious, like really learning Street Fighter 6. So switching over to Cammy, right? I'm like, damn, what am I supposed to do? And sure enough, I found a way. What I learned, right, with Cammy, I can all of a sudden do more light spiral arrow, because what usually would be like minus or 0 on block, now it's going to be plus. I can do more dive kicks with what's the impunity? Would that be the word for that? Like with I think impunity, right? I don't have to think about the spacing or the height which my dive kick hits as much, because now from a higher angle where it would be minus, now it's still plus, right? So any character I learn, it would not matter. I would still find a way to take advantage of that drive gauge system. So again, as far as the drive gauge, and it's drive gauge management and awareness. When you do your whiff punishes or combos or whatever, especially whiff punishes, try to finish in a meterless combo unless you specifically want to do a drive rush combo. Do not just default to it, right? And do your pokes. Don't always drive rush cancel off of your pokes in general, even like in the neutral game. And I will also add this as a little tidbit. Well, I guess I could put that in a future thing when we talk about number 3. But okay, now next thing I want to talk about real quick is, so that's number 1, drive gauge management and awareness, and then you use it to help your reads. The second thing, character matchups. Okay, in the end of the day, first and foremost, you are going to lose valuable MR, point blank period, if you do not have every character matchup down to some degree, right? So I'm sure that everybody watching this video right now, right, or most people, there's a character or a couple characters that be beating y'all ass, but you much better. Like, you could fight against a 1900 or whatever is over your MR character, like a player with a character, and you do fine, versus if you played against a lower MR player, but they use this or that character that you have a hard time with, right? That has to be eliminated. At least as much as possible, because otherwise, obviously, you're gonna just tank MR, and the same thing goes for a tournament, right? You can't just have bad character matchups. Now, the less obvious thing about the character matchup thing, this helps you decide what to focus on in a match. So again, I happen to be studying Ending Walker, but it don't matter who I was studying or what character you could pick up the same stuff. So I'm watching Ending Walker at Street Fighter League. I'm watching a lot of his matches, studying. This all off stream. And I noticed how much he likes to walk back and forth a whole lot of nooch, but like standing. Like, he likes to just stand. He doesn't really crouch much. And obviously we know about the hurt box stuff. Ignore that. My point is, like, how do I explain it? What I wanted to start thinking about is, I want to be like, okay, like, even if I'm not asking Enders directly or any player, I can look and see, what are you focused on? I have to watch the match in order to see. Because you're not about to, for example, just check a drive rush. It's impossible. You're not checking a drive rush you weren't looking for, right? So if you did check a drive rush, oh, okay, so that's one of the things on your mental stack, right? Or if you're doing an air-to-air, or, if you're whiff punishing a certain attack or whatever it might be. So when it comes to character matchups, I believe, well, at least what I've been doing, and it's been very helpful. It gives me the roadmap to let me know what I'm looking for when I'm playing against a character, and like when I'm playing neutral. It gives me the spots on screen I might want to stand, or my mental stack. It narrows down my mental stack tremendously. So if I'm playing against Ryu, for example, I'm very conscious of using perfect parry to try to time his solar plexus on reaction, to perfect parry that. And then what I've noticed is, like, oh damn, if I'm perfect parrying that, I'm already in that mode. So all of a sudden, if he does donkey kick, right, then and it's slow enough to react to, I'm gonna also do a parry there, but like the drive rush OS, or if he happens to do a fireball or something like that, I'm more likely to perfect parry that as well. So parry, for example, against Ryu is a huge, a really big thing. Versus, let me see another type of character. What's another character I would bring up? Let's say JP. JP, for example. So it depends on where I'm at on the screen, and of course, like, what character I'm using. But in general, but when somebody's doing like OD, if they want to use OD Ghost, now why would they want to use OD Ghost, right? Because when you do OD Ghost on block, you get a free departure, I think it's called, the portal setup. Well, the portal, if JP sets up portal, God bless you, right? GG, 7 Hail Marys, or however many Hail Marys it is, God bless you, it's over. So what I learned, I'm like, damn, this is mad strong. I'm like, okay, I reverse engineer it. Like, damn, portal is mad good. How is my opponent getting portals off? Because I'm watching replays and I'm seeing that. And then I'm like, damn, this OD is mad good. So you know what I learned? By just going to the lab, I can jump OD portal on reaction. I can see it and jump over it. I don't get like a punish, but he just wasted it, and I'm in his face to get pressure now. So if it's that type of JP, I'm looking for that. When I'm in like my footsies range with JP, I find him very easily whiff punishable. Like he's not like the coldest button for button character. So I'm big on whiff punishing up against JP, for example. And then I'm also big on the looking for him to raise his hand in a certain way. And if he does, I'm gonna do the perfect parry drive rush OS, where I'll perfect parry his spike. And then if it was departure instead, then I get a whole drive rush punish. Or I might even if it whiffs, his spike might whiff and I get a whole punish. So I've been way better at a JP matchup. But the character matchup is what's letting me know what to, cross medium punch is the same for JP, I go cap. But the character matchup is letting me know what to focus on in a match, okay? I think that also kind of bleeds naturally into mental stack, which is, I think, again, especially in Street Fighter 6, one of the most important things. And I will actually show you guys an example of this. And like I said, this is Cammy, like I said, is 1 week. I think I'll be able to get Cammy to 2K MR as well eventually and all that, like, because it's all understanding the game and all that. Okay, so for example, this is what I mean as far as the mental stack stuff. All right, where is I'll turn off all this stuff. Okay, so for example, with Cammy, I'm thinking like this. This is not character matchup, but mental stack wise, right? So of course, bam, using this. Shout out Cammy or Cat's Cammy was bringing up to me, for example. So okay, bam, doing that versus, doing a full joint like this or doing a whole joint in a dive kick. But my point is that this just overwhelm my opponent's mental stack. I'm not being random. The point is that this, right? This, I don't gotta do that fast in this game. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm doing punch. I'm tripping. I'm so new to Cammy. Okay, but this opens up this, right? That's a straightforward thing. Okay, so now my opponent got to think about the jump. Like, is the jump a regular jump or a short dive kick? But even though that's a mental stack thing, well, my opponent still can just do a late reaction DP. Well, yeah, pretty like good players are able to do that fairly consistently. So if I'm only doing that, then that's not strong. But now you don't know if I'm gonna do a full jump right here or if I'm gonna do a fake dive kick. Now I also, what do I have with Cammy that I don't necessarily have with Ryu, right? I think my character's strengths, we'll talk about that later. I have walk speed too. So now, boom, I'm also using these. I'm also using these pokes, right? I'm also using these pokes. So now all of a sudden I'm also going for pokes. Okay, let me see. That's a different part of the mental stack. I'm going for just a straight low forward drive rush. Something like that. Now, mind you, I just told you what my opponent is now thinking about me possibly walking up poking, me all of a sudden doing a fake dive kick, me doing a full jump, me doing the EX, which is plus on block, right? Now, let me see. Another thing I'm gonna do with Cammy, for example, and again, your character's mental stack is different. What you do your opponent, okay? Bam. I might whiff punish you, which also is adding to your mental stack because you don't know, even though you're not trying to react to me whiff punish you, obviously, it's just now you might be less likely to want to press a button. Now, this is where the skill of Street Fighter and the skill of Street Fighter 6 comes in too. So, not the whiff punish itself, but watch this. So now, you want to react to my jump, which you gotta, is it this or a regular jump? Am I walking up and poking you? You don't want to just let me poke you for free. You want to just let me just do this and take a drop gauge. So now you got to press something, don't you? You got to be ready for my jump. Now you got to press something. You want to stop me from just walking at you. But now you want to press something, I just whiff punished you. Okay. Now you like, okay, you waiting for the jump and you ready to react to it. Okay, boom. And what I do? Bam. Bam. This is Street Fighter 6. This is high level Street Fighter 6. With the huge skill gap part about it though is that the best way I could put it is that like I can smell my opponent, like I can smell blood. So the skill that you want to develop is being able to read what it is that your opponent's mental stack is not ready for.
I don't have time to play.
You know, and that does not mean, again, that's not doing something random. It's like, it's more so if I'm making a read on my opponent. Everything is a read. People think just this 50-50 right here is a read. No, all of this, all of Street Fighter forever, all of fighting games is a read. All of it, right? Because technically we can both react to everything. Not react, but you get what I'm saying. Everything is punishable. So we more so, like, the higher level you get, you are just knowing what your opponent is going to do before they do it. Everybody has habits, this, that, and the third. But when you have this conscious mental stat game with your character set up in advance in your brain, as far as your base, then it's easier to adapt and download your opponent. Hopefully that part makes sense. Chat, y'all get where I'm coming from with that? And with Ryu, my thing will be completely different. With Lily, my thing will be completely different. Like my mental stack. As a Kimberly player, my thing will be completely different. So mental stack, that part right there is huge. And now, as far as that mental stack thing too, chat, also from a mental stack standpoint, is accepting you can't react to everything. That is one of the worst things that you can do, is try to react to everything. You gotta let some stuff go, okay? You have to let some stuff go, and that helped me so much. Now, let me see. For example, I was playing against the Wong, that the Ken player that I just played. But like, let's say a Ken, if like most Ken's not going to use Dragon Lash a whole lot, but like, you happen to run into a Ken that actually is using it a lot. I mean, that wants to use it sometimes. Actually, you know, no, that's not the example I'm using. I'm just using Cammy real quick. Okay, let me go to. Bruh. Okay, let me see. So just for example, how do I put this? Damn, Ryu feels so slow now after using Cammy for this week or whatever. Okay, I don't want to at all times. For example, Cammy can do this, and we all know that we can punish this, right? But is it really worth it? Like, it is worth it. It is all 100% worth it. But if the Cammy, or, you know, even the Cammy doing this, right? You can react to that and drive impact it for a whole big ass punish or something like that. Pocket sounds weird. What's up, Savage? But overall, when I really think about what's the most dangerous things, and of course it comes to the character, it comes down to the player too. This is probably the most dangerous thing. And then now it depends on my opponent. Is my opponent doing a lot of drive rush? If my opponent's doing a lot of drive rush or a decent amount of drive rush and want to jump too, especially with Cammy, bro, those two things are gonna be the main part of my motherfucking mental stack probably. I'm not trying to. Also, I'm not realistically about to check a drive rush with punish the low forward and anti-air a DP and not do a DP if she did the fake dive kick, right? That's the skill of it. The stronger that you get, it's not about being fast at reacting to everything, bro. I've been having so many more godlike plays happening lately. That's like, oh, that's just fire. But like my body just does it and shit. But it's because I'm anticipating it in advance. What's up, Black Samurai? I'm anticipating in advance. Okay, now this is something too. I will put. What's up, WJ? As far as the whole. Okay, no. First, let me tell y'all this before the Pocket Space thing. This is something that I got from. I cannot remember the person's name. I'm so sorry. If I can remember, I will. Somebody made a video on this concept. Somebody from France, I think. I tweeted. But look at this, chat. Let me put y'all on some game. This is not about it being a drill. Okay. Do you know why this is cool? Because it's not about Cammy. Don't ignore the characters. It don't matter what characters are on screen. This is irrelevant. The point is, I'm using the same button to check all of these different things. My anti-air DP, I'm doing light punch DP, or I'm doing medium punch DP. I'm doing medium punch with punish. I'm doing medium punch check on a drive rush. So if I'm using Cammy sometimes, like for example, if I'm looking for a whiff punish, I make sure in that situation, if I want to react with, if I want to whiff punish somebody with crouch medium kick, I'm also gonna make sure I anti-air with medium kick anti-air DP. Cause you're gonna be that much slower trying to do a whiff punch crouch medium kick, then they happen to jump instead, and now you gotta do fucking heavy DP or light DP. You're making it all the same button. Now I'm poking you with stand medium kick, I'm whiff punch you with crouch medium kick, I'm anti-airing you with medium kick DP. So that in itself is a really, really cool cool concept that you want to have in your game sometimes. Now, this right here is massive as well, right? For getting high level with the game. This right here is massive too. Yes, it reduces the mental load. Yes. And it makes you a lot faster. Okay, y'all. Now. Okay. This is the thing. With punishing, I think was one of my biggest traps, or how do I word it? Like things that was slowing me down a bit at first, because I mean, I'm cold at it. Like my neutral is really strong, but I was focused too much on it. What's up, Adam? Appreciate for the 6 months. What's up, JV? So now this is what I want y'all to understand, bro. It's not that you don't want to whip. So I remember at some point I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't whiff punish in this game. Maybe it's not as valuable. Maybe it's not worth it. This is what I learned, bro. And I remember this in 5 too when I was competing. Basically, you want to focus on pockets. It's like I look at it like a Dragon Ball Z fight. Like everything's real fast. Da, 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 da. So basically, let me switch to Cammy. Okay, we playing Nooch, blah, 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 whatever we playing. I'm looking for whiff punish. Boom, boom. You didn't do it. Okay, my brain is off it immediately. Like, how can I put it? I'm letting my brain be on, like, because I'm making a read that you're going to whiff this button or a button right here at this time. You didn't do it. Now I quickly switch to whatever my next reads are. My next couple. Okay, I think it's gonna be a drive rush or a jump. You get what I'm saying? Or quickly, I just went from, oh, I'm looking for a whiff punish. So in a match, boom, whiff punish, it didn't come out. Okay, bam. Please get the concept. Hope I'm explaining it the right way. What I'm saying is, like, your brain has to quickly let go of this button. Or yeah, now I will look for it. My brain just immediately went to, I let it go. So the way I look at it is like this. Like when you're watching, like, let's say whatever, your favorite pro player or whatever, they're like this, boom, boom. This is all okay. You just got anti-air. The other, my opponent just got anti-air 50 times. Like that's something I gotta improve my anti-air DPs. But my opponent just got anti-air, even though nothing happening. Anti-air. Okay, I'm looking for whiff punish. He just got whiff punish. Like, because if he did it, I whiff punish his whole ass. But now I'm not looking for it. So now, if you whiff a button and I was not looking for that, yeah, this is going on YouTube. If you whiff a button and I wasn't looking for you to whiff in that moment, who cares? Okay, cool. I wasn't looking for it and you whiffed it. Cool. God bless. I remember Boost said, like, he feels like a whiff punish is the most forgivable. Missing a whiff punish is the most forgivable mistake. Because you know what's not forgivable? That. Because God bless you. You could have just lost the round if you just got hit by that or blocked it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, oh, I'm looking for somebody's drive rush. I'm looking for a drive rush. Bro, I can't be looking for a drive rush the whole goddamn time. So I'm looking for it. All right, you ain't do it. All right, cool. If I think you're not about to do it, all right, cool. Man, I'm on to the next couple of things, and rapidly, way faster than what I'm saying right here. Like that's happening a billion different times. All right. So, okay. So what's the other one I had? So far we did drive, gauge management, awareness, character matchups, mental stack. Okay, next thing that I would say is mechanic abuse. Okay, mechanic abuse is huge. Street Fighter 6 is a very mechanics heavy game, and you want to find whatever different ways to abuse the mechanics of the game. Whatever's the best way that your character can do it or whatever. So drive rush is just, I mean, brother, Jesus Christ, is so strong. And one of the things that leveled up my Ryu so much, bro, and it put so much together for me, was studying grand finals of China Premier. Yes, so the China Premier. So I noticed how he plays, right? What he'll do, for example, is like, now will do this. He does this a lot. Stand medium kick, drive rush. Okay? Wait. How can I explain it? Bro, even just doing this, then drive rush. Like this, drive rush jab. Simply doing like it. When Hanao does this in his drive rush, he does it whether it's on whiff, like he can whiff it and he'll do it. You can block it, he'll do it. You can get hit and he gonna do the fucking drive rush. Okay. And I noticed even training with him. So again, it's just a mental stack overload because you just whiffed an attack or you just did an attack. They just not thinking about that. Like, you know, this just like jars somebody's brains. Like it scrambles their receptors for a second or something like that. And now you just get a free drive rush jab. Now that's a specific trick, but the overall concept is just about mechanic abuse overall. Even for example, this is something that Yo Fierce likes to do a lot. Let's say he'll do it with Kimberly. Obviously he plays Kimberly, right? Where's Kim? Kimberly. So obviously I can do this. How you do it? That, right? You can do this, or you can do the this drive rush to make it real. Drive rush cancel. You know what he'll do sometimes? A lot. Fierce will do this. Do you know how fucking good that is? Look at the subtle difference. This versus this. You just only spent one bar. The whole point is that even if it was Cammy, you think I'm a drive rush cancel, right? And instead, I just do a crouch medium kick. And then I just drive rush a medium. You're like, oh, he didn't cancel? Oh, then the drive rush out of nowhere. Mechanic abuse is extremely, especially drive rush, that stuff is extremely important because it opens everything else up. Drive rush is the glue that puts together the rest of a high level neutral game, in my opinion. Again, remember, so you whiff punishing somebody or something like that, you know, depending on whatever your character does in neutral, Cammy, my jumps and all that, just walking at somebody, you know, my own button drive rush stuff, whatever, and then just raw drive rush, for example. So you got to make sure you goddamn or abusing the mechanics, and especially also corner game. Oh, I guess this is kind of like partially tied to it. It's not really, but this was a huge part. What's up, Capilord? To me, leveling up too is improving my corner game. Oh shit. Okay. One thing you got to make sure you're doing sometimes, bro, is even just like, okay, your opponent just woke up and you just do this. Like in advance, you already decided you're going to do on their wake up, jab into drive rush or something like that. Or you got to make sure you're using your drive rushes on your opponent, even when they're like on their wake up and everything sometimes. Like be just, you know, stealing extra turns and all that. That's extremely important. And like I feel like your corner game, when I play against Knuckle Dude, for example, the corner feels like such a cage, and yet and at the same time he feel like a rabid animal in that motherfucker. I feel like he can hit me, it's hard for me to hit him, and then I don't know if he gonna do it's a lot going on. So now what I'm big on too is like I think you want to make sure you don't walk back too much. That's something that I'm working on with my Cammy that I was bad at. I noticed I was bad at. I'm gonna make sure that I more so hold it to some degree, right? Like, and I'm ready to anti-air. I want to make sure I'm ready to anti-air DP. And all of this is like low mental stack poking that I'm doing right here. Like, you know, this, like I'm not committing my brain too much to down here. Now, if I want to look for a whiff punish, then I will dedicate more of my mental stack to it. But in general, just, he said under the clock. That's fascinating. Chris T said under the clock is the most broken spot for the corner. That's fascinating. So that's the same. So that's the concept I'm talking about. Yeah. Wow. I never thought about that though. Like that, using the clock. That's really cool. But this is extremely strong. And then even here, sometimes, bruh, use your goddamn drive rush, your drive rush jab, whatever it may be. But you got to be anti-airing in the corner, bro. And I think it's a mistake to overly focus on whiff punishing in the corner. I think it's a bit of a mistake to overly focus on it, on your mental stack on that. Okay, the next thing, chat. Please embrace what makes your character godlike / cheap, no matter what character you play. Okay, when I switched over to Cammy, or you know, picked up Cammy or whatever, it was like, damn, like I'm only used to Ryu in this game, so I'm like, damn, her damage is so low, right? In comparison, like, I mean, in general in the game, she got low damage. She don't have like a fireball, you know. She seemed pretty straightforward, cut and dry. So I was struggling, and eventually I started focusing more on what makes my character busted. Like, what are they great at? Whatever character you play, your character is broken at something. I don't give a damn. Your character is amazing at something. Godlike is cheap at something. You know, you do not gotta, don't let yourself only focus on what your character does not have. Okay, so for Cammy, again, I'm using her walk speed and that strong ass aerial game and that great corner carry and all that type of stuff. Think about the imbalances. He said, if I choose to play Geef, what makes me cheap? Danny Pham is a great example of that. So Geef, I think Geef is like a bottom 5 character in this game, but yet he's still godlike, right? The fact that his damage is so high, so how does Danny Pham take advantage? And he has SPD and stuff, and he got that crazy level 3. How does Danny Pham take advantage of this? Well, Danny Pham accepts the fact that his character is volatile. So what Danny Pham does is he plays a playstyle that is high risk, volatile. Like, he's more likely to be willing to do a wake up parry, even, for example, a couple times in a row, just because if he does, and while he's in the corner, because if he does get that back throw, it's GG. You might see Danny just go for like proximity level 3 and nooch, and that shit really be hitting the shit out of people. But there's so many, like, or the drive, the way he uses his drive rushes, or for example, as Zangief. If I play Zangief, and Zangief players do this, I would be way more willing to jump with Zangief than I would with other characters. Like, as a Ryu player, I'm not willing to jump as much as I would if I play Zangief, because you also have extra health. So you have extra health, and you have the threat of SPD. So the whole risk reward in that jump just changed. You jump in on Cammy, for example. If you get anti-air, you just lost how much damage? Okay, cool. If you did happen to jump over a button or something, or against a fireball character, jump over a fireball or whatever, or they just wasn't ready and they just blocked the jump in or something like that, bro, it's guess for your life immediately, right? So embrace what make your character cheap and abuse that shit, bro. You gotta embrace that and abuse that. And the jump is good too. Yeah, Alex would be crazy. Yeah, so that's a huge thing too. All right, now the last two I would say is, bro, and well, I guess the last one, then the other one is like a bonus tip. I keep showing you all this shit in advance, but okay, neutral game and fundamentals, chat, dude, it's not easy to develop. But I promise y'all, look, I don't come on here exaggerating or nothing like that, bro. I'm not lying. I wasn't like secretly playing Street Fighter 6 and I'm acting like I really wasn't, bro. No, for years, I just was not playing this goddamn game. And I was able to get to whatever level I'm at now that fast, right? Why? Because I promise y'all, bro, fundamentals matter. At some point, I was gonna learn, and I'm still learning the mechanics. I'm gonna learn the character matchups. I'm learning all that shit. But the hardest thing to gain, no matter what, is fundamentals. Please, bro, when you learn in the game, or I don't care how good you are, because whether it was Street Fighter 4, 5, 6 right now, it don't matter which Street Fighter, there were always even good players who had ass fundamentals. You could be a good player, you know what I'm saying, and not have good fundamentals. For example, I think like Kimberly, for example, right? Yo Fierce actually has strong fundamentals, so now that makes the Kimberly BS that much stronger. But somebody else could have got high MR with Kimberly, or decent MR or high MR, and they don't have strong fundamentals. They just really abusing the shit out of Fierce run stop and Fierce run and stamina kick drive rush and on a crazy offense. Or as a Cammy player, for example, you know, the Cammy player has just got really good at, you know, this and then into regular jump and, you know, the Cammy BS. You get what I mean? So you can get you can get decent at a game, good at a game, I would say, even without knowing fundamentals, but there is a limit to how far you can go. Okay, I was able to level up fast because of the basics of fundamentals, the basics of the footsies triangle, for example, all of that type of stuff, knowing how to whiff punish or how to make my opponent whiff, or knowing when they not gonna press nothing, and now I'm just going, knowing the importance of a jab, of a walk-up jab, right? Knowing, you know, having your anti-airs together, knowing your meter management, whatever. All of the fundamental stuff does matter. It's not just, yeah, it's gonna be on YouTube. This is not just this old man talk. It matters. Street Fighter 6, you probably need even less fundamentals thanks to the drive system. Nah. Well, to be a threat to somebody in the first or two, but in long term, it matters just as much. The footsies triangle is like, what is it, chat? I think it's poke, walk. It's walking, poking, and whiff punishing, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, the footsies triangle is like, if I'm gonna poke, then the way Akuma would beat my poke would be to whiff punish me. He could whiff punish me. So now he's walking back like this to whiff punish. But now, since he's walking, actually, I'll just show you. All right, he's going for a poke. Now I'm gonna sit back here, I'm back up and whiff punish him. Okay, so now he knows I'm looking for whiff punish. Now I'm walking back like this, looking for whiff punish. Well, what beats that? Now I'm looking for whiff punish. Oh shit. And look, that walk forward beats my walk back. Walk forward beats walk back. Also, yeah, walk forward beats whiff punish. That's what I should say. Walk forward beats whiff punish. And so what beats his walk forward? Me poking. But what beats poking? Whiff punish. But what's beat whiff punish? What's it called? What's the way we word it? Walking forward. So that's why I'm saying it comes down to the reason in the day. Everything has an answer. So in general, if a motherfucker poking, you can you're able to whiff punish them. But if you're looking for a whiff punish, then now that you can walk at somebody, and then if you're walking at somebody, poking beat somebody that's walking at you, thinking that you're looking for a whiff punish. And that's why in the end of the day, you have to read all of Street Fighter, all of fighting games, all of it, even fundamentals, is a read. When we're in neutral, round, you know, whatever, round one fight, whatever the hell, this is all a read. The stronger that you get in Street Fighter, the more accurate your reads get. The stronger you get fundamentally, the more that you know about, the more of your character strategy you have, and the more of a character matchup strategy that you have for your opponent. So yeah, that's a huge thing. Quick extra joint that I would add in, by the way. So yeah, fundamentals, everything. Well, not everything, but it matters. Now this is just my opinion, right? But I personally believe that as far as making reads on defense in this game, bro, like again in Street Fighter 5, that's a game I was elite in, right? And I remember playing against Zangief's, whooping a motherfucking ass. But with Geef, he could do, like, I think, was it EX SPD, and then he got Oki off it, chat. I think he got Oki off OD SPD. So if he ever landed OD SPD, and I'm playing in an important tournament and all that shit, in advance, I already would tell myself to not lose any mental, like you have like a mental health bar too. And I'm not about to lose any of my mental health bar over these next guesses. You get what I'm saying? Like, bro, if you're in this position, I don't think it's really worth in advance. It's going to happen sometime, bro. It's going to happen. Why you losing goddamn mental? It's not worth it. This also is why I believe more than ever, I think there's not that much of a thing, like, how do I put it, of a bad DP. Like, bad DPs used to exist. I remember NL had really bad DPs for some reason in 5. I don't know about 6, but doing a wake up DP. Maybe you could say like a wake up, like your level, your supers, because that's kind of like managing your gauge and shit. But you at risk of death. I feel like in Street Fighter 6, you at risk of death when you get knocked down in the corner or whatever, regardless, bro. Right? I'm not telling y'all to be random, but I kind of damn near am telling y'all to be random to some degree. I think if somebody reads my wake up, or you know, of course I'm making my reads and or whatever, but if somebody block your DP and stuff in this game, bro, it is what it is. Like the offense is too strong. The reason I'm saying that, of course, is because throw loops exist, and it's because of this, as y'all see up there in the top right of the screen. Blocking makes somebody take my drive gauge and stuff too, right? So you got to make your reads and switch it up. You got to make your reads in the end of the day. And there was something that Adam said that as another bonus thing real quick, that Adam had said that Minna had told him. He said they was training at like a Capcom Cup or something. And he said Adam was teching too much. He was like, bro, he's like, I feel like, he was like mid-screen. I don't know how recent this was, but I seen a YouTube short where Adam talking about this on Trash Talk. And he was like, bro, do anything but tech. Now, I'm trying to implement this right now. I have it written on my whiteboard. Now, you have to tech, but I'm talking about at least like mid-screen. He's like, bro, back dash, back jump, neutral, whatever the hell you want to do. Just try to do anything but tech mid-screen because the risk reward is just so goddamn bad on tech in mid-screen. So that's just another little thing from Minna / Adam, right? Makes a whole lot of sense. Now, again, this, I think in the corner, bro, you got to tech sometimes. You got to just do every guy. Like, it is what it is, but yeah. All right, let me see. So now I can actually consciously show y'all the goddamn dock before we close out. Again, as y'all can see, as far as the title up there in the top left, how I hit, oh, you can't even see it, but this, you know, how I reached 2K in March Street Fighter 6. That drive gauge right there, huge. All that right there. Character matchups, mechanic abuse, embracing whatever make my character strong. It don't matter what character you play. I'm telling y'all right now, whatever character in the game, I will be able to get to the same skill level with any character, because that's not how Street Fighter 6 work. That's not how fighting games work. Neutral game / fundamental, except like Dawson or something, because I just don't like those characters. That's weird. Fundamentals and mental stack, and then the whole thing I told you about making reads on defense. All right, chat, please make sure that y'all real quick say bye to YouTube. Put bye YouTube in the chat if you guys appreciated the content just now. We ain't about to hop off stream. I'm actually about to play me some Street Fighter 6 right now. Make sure y'all leave a comment on the YouTube video right now. Let me know if you guys found this helpful, or if you guys have any specific questions. Actually, chat for anybody in here right now. Capital, what the hell? For anybody in here right now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know right now too. Yeah, and make sure you're pulling up to live streams. You see we going back to back to back on these goddamn YouTube uploads and everything, and I'm often streaming like 6-hour streams, 8-hour streams, whatever, bro. So make sure y'all pull up twitch.tv/RobTV live. And to the next one, I've been your boy Big Hollywood RobTV, and I'm gone.